Okay, this is Atlantis in the OPF Bay 1, and they're getting ready to remove an engine. And that's a specialty forklift that we call a heister.
So that would have been after it came back from the last flight, I gather.
Yes, we remove all the engines after each flight, and they get refurbished and tested.
And after that happens, I guess they go over to another facility so that I guess they can have some testing and
yeah, they take them over to their shop, over the engine shop over there, and
I guess
you can
that's
see
what we're seeing there.
You can see them. They've done their hookups and they're getting ready to run tests, and just verify that the engine's ready to go for the whatever next mission it's scheduled to be on.
And each of the engines has to go through this process. Is that right?
Yeah. After each firing, they get reprocessed and refurbished.
All right. And we're back over at the orbiter processing facility. Which bay are we in now?
We're in OPF Bay 1, and you can see that the technician's touching up a repair on the tile. There's 24,000 tiles on the vehicle. And right here, it looks like they're getting ready to remove a window, window 8, one of the overhead windows. We do inspections, and sometimes we have to remove 2 or 3 windows, maybe more. It depends on what the inspectors find.
After the previous flight.
Right.
So now let's see what's happening here. This is different.
They're actually removing the pane, the window pane,
okay.
And they'll take it over and inspect it. Now here they're removing the RCCs on the wing leading edge, and that's so we can do corrosion inspections behind these RCC panels.
And that's basically what provides thermal protection for the orbiter.
The RCC
during
panel.
Re-entry, right along the leading edge of the wings.
Yeah, and you could see he was using a specialty light to find any defects, and we're getting ready to reinstall window 8 there. You can see it's going back in place.
All of these things are in chronological order as we go through them, so that's why we go back from one event to the other, because each is as it happened on the day that it happened, which this window reinstallation was on the 13th of January.
Yeah, you can see the defects highlighted with that light that he had there. And this is what we call the chin panel, and that's up right underneath the nose cap. They're getting ready to install it here. There's a gap filler between, you can see that white fabric there, and that has to be replaced. Usually it lasts about 2 or 3 flights, and then we have to repair it. And that's quite an extensive effort. It takes almost the whole flow to refurbish
really?
that. Yes, it does. And here we're getting ready to install the OBSS.
Orbiter boom sensing system.
Yes. And that's on the starboard side of the vehicle. And you can see the yellow ground support equipment that's used to help install the
we can
OBSS.
see both arms. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one's for inspection, the other's for
grabbing payloads and manipulating
right.
astronauts around to various parts.
And we're doing a main engine installation here, I gather.
Yep, this is still in the engine shop. They're getting it ready to put on the heister, and it's headed over to the bay, OPF Bay 1, for installation.
And I think you said that the order that they go over there for installation, they're done in a particular order for installation. Is that right?
Well, in the horizontal, the top engine, the engine 1, has to go in first, because you don't want to be lifting and physically can't install over the other 2 lower engines. So if we do an R&R in the OPF, we have to put the top one in first. If we ever do an engine removal at the pad, it really doesn't matter there.
And what is that?
We're installing the dome heat shields and the eyelids here. This is the protective cover that goes around the engines to kind of finish off the installation and protect the.
Okay. So that's insulation around the engines themselves.
Yes. You can see the tile on the heat shields there. And then this is the barge bringing our external tank.
That was on March the 1st this year, coming in on the barge Pegasus.
It's a pretty sight to see the external tank come in. They offload it pretty quickly. just take it right in. Here it is being offloaded. Take it in and rotate it to vertical in the VAB there, and then put it in a checkout cell.
So it has some testing then before it gets.
Yeah, they'll inspect it up and down and make sure that there's no problems with the tank. And here's the hatch.
The orbiter hatch, right?
They're closing the hatch, getting ready for orbiter rollout here. Pull testing some gap fillers. And this is, I think they're working on cameras here.
Camera installation,
yeah,
right.
They're getting ready to install these cameras in the mid-body. And we've got cameras all over in the mid-body, and that's when we see pictures from on orbit, that's where they're coming from. And this is the rudder speed brake area, and they're getting ready to close out the this area.
That's thermal insulation there being applied to it?
Putting the panel on, and they gain access into different areas with through these access doors, and they are removed.
And we're back in the vehicle assembly building now.
Yep, they're lifting the tank up and over and going to make it to the solid rocket boosters that are waiting over on the MLP.
I guess after that's made it, I guess they have the shuttle interface test, I guess.
Yep, they make the connections and they test it. And then here we're doing our main landing gear functional right before we roll out. Test to make sure that the gear work correctly before we roll.
And that's the last time the gears are actually deployed before launch, is that right?
That's right. And then they're retracted, and then we put the vehicle on the orbiter transport system, the OTS, and roll it out. And this is it's getting backed out of OPF Bay 1. This is part of our team that's walking her over to the VAB.
I guess that's sort of an important day for the team, because that means so much work that's required in the hangar has been finished, and it means it's pretty much ready to go from an orbiter standpoint.
Yeah, it's been a long, pretty good flow, and it's nice to see her roll over, and here she's getting lifted up in the transfer aisle of the VAB.
The lifting sling that was just attached.
And rotated to vertical. And that's a pretty amazing sight to see the vehicle get rotated like that and then lifted up. It goes up and then over and then lowered back down into place, just like the external tank was earlier. While we're processing in the OPF, the tank and the boosters are being prepped and readied in various facilities, and then they're all brought together here in the VAB.
And how long does Atlantis need in the VAB before rollout?
It's normally 7 days.
7 days.
And we were ready at 7 days, but we had some weather issues with this one, so we had to stay a couple extra days.
And here's rollout from the vehicle assembly building out to launch pad 39A. It was on April the 22nd. Usually done in the middle of the night for weather reasons, I think, is the main reason. Is that right?
And the crew happened to be here because we were having the countdown demonstration test just a couple days later, so they happened to be on site for their crew training.
So they were here for the rollout. And it's going out to the pad at the breakneck speed of 0.8 miles per hour.